On, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam, I hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight, man. Hope everyone's had a great weekend. Hope your guys' Saturday is going fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, it's here. The wait is over, almost over. Saturday night before week one's Sunday action for the 2023 fantasy football season is here. So incredibly excited. We're going to have a full day of football tomorrow, but we have had even more unfortunate updates in the fantasy community today. So we've got some news to go over. We've got a lot to get into. You guys know what we're going to do tonight. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some fantasy football. Any fantasy football questions that you guys have, redraft, dynasty, or best ball, get in the live chat, get it going. It's time for some late night fantasy Q&A, one of my favorite streams that we do throughout the season. So, all right, let's hold on, guys. Let me get one thing set up here. But yeah, get in the live chat tonight, guys. Hit the like button on the way in. Subscribe if you're new. I mean, YouTube stuff, get it out of the way. But let me just get one or two things set up here, and we should be good to go. But let's start with Mark Andrews. So Mark Andrews not expected to play against the Texans. So another bad update in terms of the tight end position. We talked about this last night a little bit. Like, we knew he was questionable. We knew Kittle was questionable. We knew Waller was not likely to play. We knew Kelsey's already been out. It's just been such a, top tier tight ends have not been good to us thus far, but we'll see how things shape out there. So if you own Mark Andrews and you can't play him, Isaiah Likely is a great option. I mean, we didn't really have Isaiah Likely beforehand as a potential streaming option. And now looking at things, we do. And even if, I don't know, Likely is going to be worth starting regardless at the moment. So this kind of changes things, with Andrews out for sure. This does, in a way, help out the tight end market because it's getting a little bit bleak right now. There's been a lot of movement, but if Likely is not available, I still like Jawan Johnson. Tyler Higbee, Cole Kmet, probably long gone at this point, but those are still my two favorite guys to go out and grab. It just kind of depends on who's available for you guys, but I really think Jawan Johnson is a good start. I really think Gerald Everett is a good start this week as well. If you absolutely don't have any better options, Dawson Knox, dart throw, Luke Musgrave, a dart throw. And if it's really bad, I think Noah Fant is okay. It's just, we talked about this last night. Once we get into this tier of tight ends, everybody's touchdown dependent. It's very unlikely you're going to get a guy that is going to end up being somebody who gets enough targets that he doesn't need to score. So touchdown's going to be very important at the end of the day here. But if you guys are having tight end issues, let me know and we'll go from there. All right, Devontae Parker not expected to play tomorrow. That doesn't sound like, super pressing news, but could see another wide receiver on this Patriots team maybe step up. Maybe Kendrick Bourne was mentioned last night. And Juju Smith-Schuster, this is probably good for. Still a tough matchup for the Pats. Hollywood Brown is expected to play. He had been questionable with a hamstring injury. He is expected to play. Ramondre Stevenson, as I told you guys last night, is going to play. Saints rookie Kendre Miller not expected to play against the Titans. So if you own Jamal Williams, things are looking good right now. Adam Thielen is expected to play despite the ankle injury against the Falcons. Seahawks placed running back Kenny McIntosh on IR. Kind of unfortunate. I like McIntosh. Zach Moss not going to play more than likely. He's doubtful. And that's about it. we're getting these rumors that Jalir McCaughlin, Broncos running back, is going to get significant carries in week 1. Now, right now, as good as this matchup is, I'm kind of avoiding the Broncos backfield. I mean, at the same time, Sean Payton has said there's no snap count for Javonte Williams, but I'm like, Samaje Perine, McCaughlin now. I don't know. Something feels odd here, but big thing for the night is Mark Andrews. We kind of got hit with that news, just a few hours ago. So George Kittle still listed as questionable, unclear if he'll play. All right, if you guys are having injury issues, let me know. But starts, sits, waiver wires, injury issues, like I just said, whatever you guys need, roster reviews, whatever it is, let me know. We're going to get into it. Hit that like button for me. And I do apologize. I got started a little bit later tonight than I wanted to, but happy to be here with you guys. And let's run back some late night, Saturday night fantasy Q&A. All right, Godfather, what's going on, my guy? Hello, hello. Good to see you. Hope everything is going well. Max, good to see you, man. What's up? What's up? It's that time of year, baby. Any rooks you like to start this week? I mean, I kind of talked about this last night. I'm not like super crazy about going out and starting any rookie week 1. I mean, Bijan is one thing, but like outside of that, I wasn't even like super high on, well, I don't know, I wasn't like low on Gibbs, but I wasn't super high on him either. Monty was kind of my guy all week, but like I think Zay Flowers could have a good game. I think Addison could have a good game, maybe JSN, but I think similar to what we saw out of Gibbs, like a lot of these guys are going to be slowly worked in. So I wouldn't have large expectations week 1, but then you never know. A player like Rashee Rice can step up and catch a touchdown and give you 11 fantasy points. Sam Laporta 8.9 fantasy points. So, I think for me in week 1, unless it's like Zeke or Saquon, Bijan in their rookie season, I tend to not really go out and start rookies. But this might be a weekend where Luke Musgrave is moving in the lineups, just with the nature of tight end injuries that we're being dealt with. Tank Dell could be sneaky for a garbage time touchdown, but that's about it. Andrea, good to see you. Hello, hello. Caleb, should I start Cooks or Javonte? I mean, I was kind of trending towards Javonte, but now I feel really weird about that situation. I don't know. I might go Brandon Cooks. What do you think, chat? J-Dub's, good to see you. Yes, it's always on. I try to always have subscriber mode only on. Emil, what's going on? Good to see you. Hello, hello. Yeah, Godfather says Javonte. J-Dub says Brandon Cooks. What about Waller and Kittle? Are they playing? Let's see if we have an official update here. Kittle's still questionable. Waller's still questionable. According to reports, not believed to be serious. So, unfortunately, no good answer at the moment. We'll probably have a better answer in the morning. Javonte is going to be on a snap count. This is J-Dubs. Brandon Cooks, Javonte, or B-Rob. Definitely start B-Rob against the Cardinals. I don't know if the weather is going to be great in that game, but still, you're starting B-Rob here. And I think at the moment, full PPR, I might go Brandon Cooks. Yeah, chat agreeing with that. Caleb, D-Hop, MT, Deontay Johnson, James Conner. I think to a degree, we're kind of overthinking the D-Hop situation. It's not a great matchup. I don't really love this game script either. A lot of people out there don't. But I still think at the end of the day, I kind of talked about this last night. Like, good wide receivers still show up against good cornerbacks. So I still think, D-Hop is probably just fine. Hopefully the Titans utilize him correctly and that volume is there. I mean, you look at last year, they were like 30th in the league in terms of passes per game. So, I mean, I understand why there are people out there low on D-Hop, but I still think like you have a wide receiver this caliber. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot about this situation I don't like, but I could see D-Hop going out and putting up a very respectable stat line as well. So I think D-Hop's okay. And I think Deontay Johnson's okay. I like kind of the game script, once again, is probably not going to be like super high scoring, but I think the volume should be there for Deontay Johnson. So I think both those guys are fine. MT could be sneaky. Connor, I'm out on this week against Washington, unfortunately, but I think, you go out and you draft a player like D-Hop. You probably spent the most draft capital on him. I think you fire up D-Hop here. If you really don't like it, I think you go Deontay. Shelton, I have Kittle and Kincaid. Who should I start? I mean, if Kittle plays, you have to play Kittle. If he doesn't, then you can go Kincaid. Godfather going to the Broncos game. Nice, man. Have fun. Where do I see Higgins playing next year? I mean, you guys know I hate like trying to make these type of predictions. I don't know. I mean, none of us saw D-Hop going to the Titans, right? So it's like everyone's gonna be like the Chiefs, the Bills. It's always that throughout the offseason, but then it ends up being some team like the Vikings, like a team that no one expects whatsoever. You know what I mean? I think the Giants could be in the free agency mix for wide receiver. A lot of people obviously are saying the Chiefs right now after the Thursday night game, and the Ravens with Odell like already banged up and Bateman still a question mark or kind of moving back in the mix. But I don't really see the Bengals I mean, I guess if Higgins tests free agency, it won't really matter. But I think they're going to do what they can to make sure he doesn't end up on a team like the Ravens or the Chiefs, for example. But who knows, man? Too hard to say. For me right now, like I'm just going to enjoy T. Higgins being on the Bengals, right? Yeah, Mark Andrews is going to be out. I mean, I don't know if we have the official. I mean, he's still listed as questionable, but the reports are saying he is not expected to play. Likely or Everett in full PPR. I think the game script is better for Everett. I mean, I think this game between the Dolphins and the Chargers, one of my favorite matchups, if not my favorite matchup for week 1 in terms of fantasy. So I still like Everett here, but I think likely is a good option. It's just like when we look at this matchup between the Ravens and Texans, which I don't know, maybe with Mark Andrews, it changes the game script a little bit, but ultimately, like I think the Ravens are going to do just fine this game. It's not going to have to be like a super competitive game. So, but I could be wrong. Maybe it ends up being a little bit lower scoring. I don't know, but I really think the Ravens are going to come out firing. They usually play really well week 1. And, new offensive coordinator, Lamar's happy, got some new weapons on this offense. So I think likely is a good start, but I really like Everett as well. I will say there's probably less competition at the moment in terms of targets for Isaiah Likely. So maybe roll with him. Ray Gamer, good to see you, my guy. Yeah, Godfather says Everett. Love all the guys in that Chargers Dolphins game. Yeah, I'm kind of with you too. It's I think the big thing between like Likely and Everett is like if one of them scores, they're gonna have the better game. It's just like once we move into these like streaming tight end options, it's like touchdowns are so huge. I know I'm super excited for tomorrow. Gonna be fun. Likely or Jawan Johnson. Once again, I don't think you can go wrong. Like I think you get a similar 4 in ceiling out of both guys. Mark Andrews unlikely to play. I own him in 1 league. What's going on, Nav? Tyler Lockett or DJ Moore? Ooh, that's tough. I still go DJ Moore because I think that the overall volume will be a little bit better. A little bit of a tougher matchup for him, though. I think Lockett could have a big game. So, assuming this is your flex spot, you can't really go wrong here. If it's your wide receiver 2 spot, I think you go with the guy you spent the draft capital on and DJ Moore. But I like both these guys this weekend. I mean, Jair Alexander should be lined up on DJ Moore, but I think that the Bears will find some ways to get him the football. And, Lockett is probably a guy that we shouldn't underestimate this weekend. I mean, the Rams secondary is going to be really bad this year. They were really poor last year as well. And I mean, he's got DK out there, JSN, Noah Fant, Charb's coming out the backfield, potentially catching passes. We'll see. And then, Kenneth Walker, a strong run game as well. So Lockett should be in position for a really good game. But yeah, I'd probably go DJ Moore. Who should I start at tight end? Got Andrews. He might be out. Should I pick up Jawan Johnson, likely, Dulcich, Hurst, or Ferguson? I mean, For me, I think if you are an Andrews owner, you just pivot to Isaiah Likely, but Jawan Johnson is a decent start as well. I like him this week. Ghost Hunter, Ravens or Eagles defense. I do like the Eagles defense this week, but I go with the Ravens. I mean, CJ Stroud is going to struggle in his first game, even if he's not like when we're recommending that you start a defense against a rookie quarterback. It doesn't have to mean that quarterback is playing so poorly that they are throwing 3 interceptions or anything like that, but even if they're just not driving the football down the field every single drive, that helps quite a bit, And I do think that there's a good opportunity for the Ravens to get 1 or 2 turnovers in this game. So I got to stick with the Ravens. I think they're a smash play. Them in Washington, my favorite plays this week. Yeah, Hawkinson could be the tight end one for the week. This should be a good competitive game script too. Should I drop in one? Who should I drop in one QB league? Elijah Moore, Pirine, or Bryce Young? Bryce Young. Yeah, Bryce Young. You have Burrow. You don't need Bryce Young. There'll be somebody else who comes up on the waiver wire of equivalent value at the quarterback position. So definitely Bryce Young for me. Whoever owns Dobbins, I don't, but I feel like he may have a good game. Yes, Dobbins should have a great game. I mean, the Texans were god-awful against the run last year, and that didn't really – I mean, don't get me wrong. They do have a new head coach who's a defensive-minded head coach. They drafted a couple guys in the draft, but ultimately, I just don't think it's going to come together week 1, against the Ravens at home. It's just I agree. Dobbins is a very safe start this week. I really think he's in a great game, which is not really that crazy of a call, but Everett, Johnson, or Fant. It's between Everett and Johnson. Whoever you think is the better start. I think if they're available, you don't go Noah Fant. He's kind of like him and Dawson Knox are my 2 guys, like maybe in a deeper league, or just like your opponent picked up 4 tight ends to screw you, or you just have a lot of fancy managers in your league who want to roster 2 tight ends. You're just in a really bad spot. Those are like the 2 guys I go for. But yeah, if Everett or Jawan Johnson are there, I think they're both perfectly fine. It's just once you get in this range of tight ends, I'll say it again, it's really, really close at the end of the day. Prescott or Danny Dimes? Ooh, I go Prescott. It's still kind of close here, but I go Prescott because Daniel Jones historically does not play well against the Cowboys. And yeah, that's basically it. But I could see a scenario, another full off season with Brian DeBall. You got like 17 new wide receivers. Maybe things get open up tomorrow, but this Cowboys defense still looks pretty good on paper, of course. And I think I just go Prescott here, but it's not to underestimate the Giants defense, which is not awful by any means. And, the Giants are at home Sunday Night Football. So I still go Prescott, though. But it's close. Pierce or Mostert? I go Pierce. That's tough. We just talked about that matchup between the Ravens and Texans, and I do think the volume is there for Pierce. So I think Pierce is okay. I just don't think the game script ultimately benefits him because they're going to have to throw the football. They're going to be playing from behind is what I think is going to happen. And don't be wrong, Pierce, all it really takes is, for him to stumble into the end zone once, and then he probably gets enough volume to put together a good stat line for the day. So, but Mostert is in the more competitive game script, and at the moment, it looks like the clear-cut RB1 for the Dolphins. Yes, that's coming from me, a Devon Shane lover, but who's not on the injury report this week. And then, I guess you have Savon Ahmed listed as the RB2 right now, but it's just the way that offense is ran. It's kind of like, you could see some surprises, I guess is the point I'm getting to. But Mostert has a much better matchup. The Chargers' run defense has been awful, or at least was awful last year. I don't really think it got any better over the offseason. So I probably go Mostert, but I still think the back with the better volume is Pierce. He just has a much tougher matchup and a poorer game script. You know what I mean? Scotty Boy, what's up? Jawan Johnson or Musgrave? I would go Jawan Johnson personally, but Musgrave is okay. You're good, Caleb. No worries, my guy. How do you feel about Pollard this week? You got to fire him up. I think Pollard's going to have a great year. The Giants defense, okay. Not the best, not the worst, but they're respectable for sure. Pretty decent against the run last year. But yeah, if you own Pollard, don't sweat it at all. You fire him up and you move along. Falcons fan, I got Fields, Wilson, Dotson, JJ, Gibbs, Pacheco, Jawan Johnson, Akers in the flex starting this week. Benches, JSN, Richardson, Penny Algier, Tank Mooney with Cup and Kelsey. Dang. Got hit with the early injuries. Trade Cup or stay put. So you've got Garrett Wilson, Dotson, JJ. I mean, you're in a pretty good spot at wide receiver. JSN on the bench with Mooney. I mean, it just depends on what you can get for Cup. Like, the longer this goes on, the less value you're going to get for Cooper Cup right now. So, I mean, like, yeah, you can trade him, but you just don't want to undersell yourself. And I mean, I've been saying it like, past couple weeks or whatever, like, two things. A, if you do trade Cup and he comes back after 4 weeks or whatever, and he plays like a top 5 wide receiver, then you just have to live with the decision. Anytime you trade a player with that potential away, you have to understand what can happen. But you also have to understand the other side of this is that this could be a thing that just does not go away this year. Even if Cup gets a couple good games in there, like this is something that can pop up, be re-aggravated at any moment. And like we talked about on last night's stream a little bit, like the reports that are coming out now is that this is worse than just a hamstring pull. There's a damage to the tissue in his hamstring. And like, this is not a great scenario. So I will say, I mean, you have 3 good wide receivers here. I mean, I like Dotson personally. Not everyone is quite there on Dotson, but I think most people are. I think he's going to have a good game in week 1, which will probably help. But, JJ, Dotson, and Garrett Wilson is okay, by all means, So if you move on from Cup and you can get good enough trade value, I think it's fine. But you just have to understand, like, you probably spent first round, maybe second round draft capital. I mean, I don't know. You have JJ and Cooper Cup, so I'm not sure. Oh, it's Van Jefferson. Oh God. Oh no. Oh no. I was like, wait, I need to check the bottom of the chat. Yeah, then trade Cooper Cup. You need to try and get something here. Yeah. I would trade Cup if I was you. Yeah. But once again, what are you going to get for him like, you got to shop him around and like, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I mean, let me know what you think you can get for him. But yeah, in that circumstance, the longer I was talking about that, I was like, oh, wait, how did you get Cup and JJ unless it's a keeper league? And I was like, I need to check the bottom of the chat. And sure enough. So yeah, let me know what you think you can get realistically throughout your league. David, full PPR flex to Swift, Flowers, Elijah Moore, Jaden Reed. I go Swift. I like Swift this week. I know some people hate me for that, but I like Swift. And I think Flowers okay. The Texans were good against opposing wide receivers last year. Not good against a run, obviously, but I think Flowers is okay. I think he could be a sneaky start this week. Elijah Moore is an okay start as well. Jaden Reed could see good opportunities. I mean, that's the thing. Like, this kind of tier wide receivers, like, you kind of flip a coin, 3-sided die, whatever you need to do. For me, I'd probably go Swift and Flowers, though. Prediction for DK Metcalf this week. I think he's being kind of underrated going into the week. This is a great matchup. There's no doubt about that. Fantastic matchup. And actually, I could see this game being a little bit of a better game script than I think some people are anticipating. I do think that the Seahawks defense is going to play well in this game. But I do think at the end of the day, a healthy Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay can cook something up. So I think, maybe the Hawks just don't completely blow the Rams out of the water, but I do think they're going to have a really good game. You know what I mean? Like, I think maybe they come away in the second half, but I think Metcalf's going to have a good game. Easy double-digit game, full PPR. Jonesy TV, what's good, my guy? Who do you start with? Andrews out. Hurst, Kincaid, or pick up Likely? I'd pick up Likely personally. Half PPR. I go Likely. Black Mama, what's up? DJ Moore, Cook, Flowers for the flex. Non-PPR standard. I go DJ Moore. I just think he has the best potential for the most points, even in standard. J-Dub Superflex, Jimmy G, Tanny, or Stroud. Leaning Tanny. Yeah, I guess. I mean, not Stroud. I would not start Stroud. And Tannehill does not necessarily have a great matchup either. But I still think I agree I'd probably start him over Garoppolo against the Broncos. That Broncos defense was very good last year. I mean, what was the stat? Like, if the Broncos scored like an average of 4 more points a game, they would have won like 11 games last year or something. And, don't get me wrong. It's not like Ryan Tannehill has a ton more weapons than Jimmy G necessarily, but he probably still has more. I mean, go Tannehill. Carl's Goat, what's up, my guy? He picked 2 of these for week 1, half PPR. Mike Williams, Godwin, Jackson, Brian Robinson. Ooh, tough. Because I really like Brian Robinson this week. And I think in half PPR, he's a good start. But I love Mike Williams. I love Godwin. I mean, yeah, the Washington running backs have basically been must-start guys for me all week long. And Mike Williams and Godwin made the must-start player video for today as well. I'd probably go Mike Williams and Godwin, but it's really hard to set Brian Robinson. I just think that the game script for the Chargers, Dolphins, and the Buccaneers, Vikings is probably going to be better than what we're going to get in terms of the Cardinals and Commanders. But can't really go wrong. I wouldn't start Deion Jackson. I think he could actually be a sneaky start, but the other players you have here outweigh him tremendously. I probably personally would start Godwin and Mike Williams. But if you want to go Brian Robinson, I don't have a problem with that. I just think the volume for Williams, Godwin better, the game script better. Goddard or Kmet? What's up, Dominic? That's tough. I really like Cole Kmet this week. He's played pretty well historically against the Packers as of late. Good competitive game script there. I think he's being kind of underestimated going into the week, even going into the season as a whole. But I'd probably go Goddard. Falcons fan, I can't believe. I'm sorry. Let me see. Should I start Pitts or Likely? You probably still go Pitts here. But Likely, if you have more confidence in him, I think is okay. One thing I do want to kind of check very quickly before we move along is NFL Week 1 weather. I usually do a weather report on the morning stream. Because it's the most updated that we're going to get. But I just want to quickly run through what games we're expecting rain tomorrow. Texans at Ravens, expected to be 80 degrees with a 57% chance of rain. Showers and thunderstorms are possible. Raiders at Broncos, 61% chance of rain. Showers and thunderstorms are expected. Could be a brief delay due to lightning. Eagles, Patriots, cloudy, 48% chance of rain. And then Cowboys at Giants, 51% chance of rain throughout the day, too. Could create poor field conditions. So that's not as bad as I thought. And yeah, I mean, Cardinals, Commanders, 43% chance of rain, partly cloudy. For some reason, that one, I guess because it's under 50%, didn't get the rain picture. So I skipped it. But that was the other one I was looking out for. So just be aware of that. That could impact some of these games. But I will check this again tomorrow morning when I get on live with you guys. So we'll keep that in our thoughts as well. I think A-Rich could surprise. Depends on how fast they play. I'm still very leery of the Colts going into tomorrow, but I appreciate that some people have the confidence. I'm just not there. I hope he plays well, though. I do. Who would you drop for likely, Hurst, Kincaid, or Mingo? Probably Hurst. Let me see. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mark. I completely skipped you. Any players worth stashing in deeper leagues? Roshan Johnson, Deuce Vaughn, Sean Tucker. Roshan Johnson is definitely worth stashing. A lot of people are going to say Sean Tucker. I mean, I'm not personally quite there, but that's because I have too much love for Rashad White. So maybe I'm biased, but I do think if Tank Dell's available, he's definitely worth the stash. Jaden Reed as well. Marvin Mims, those guys probably aren't, but those are the rookie wide receivers in that tier that I like. Jonathan Mingo, Jalen Hyatt, like they're worth a shot too. Josh Downs is a guy, but you know those are purely rookies, right? I mean, Isaiah Hodgins is the name that comes to mind. I think he's going to end up being a really hot week 1 waiver wire addition. I like him a lot. Maybe Rashid Shaheed, like especially if you don't believe in the health of Michael Thomas, he's probably a guy that can step in immediately. So Donovan Peoples-Jones, if he's available, I still think like he's going to end up being relatively productive this season. So there's a couple guys. All right, so we got to that one. Deeper leagues, Trey Palmer, especially if Evans gets traded mid-season. That's a good point. Jimmy G knows McDaniel's offense has players to throw a ball to. Raiders will be able to run on Broncos. I actually do think that the Raiders are going to play a little bit better than some people are expecting tomorrow, but we'll see. Is he? That sounds. Who is Denver's defensive coordinator? Why would they get rid of him? Yeah, because it's Van Jefferson, or excuse me, Van Joseph now. Yeah, who was their coordinator last year? Oh, he went to the Colts. That's right. I think. Well, anyways, I still think their defense is going to be good this year. All right. I could try trading Cup. I picked him as in the third. Oh, okay. He drafted a little bit later. Thought it was decent value. Yeah, I mean, shop him around, see what you can get potentially. No, I don't want to hear the Sean Tucker. I don't want to hear the Rashad White slander. It's not going to happen. Finnan, I had JJ Adams, CeeDee Lamb, who to trade, and running backs are Kenneth and Gibbs. I mean, in an 8-team format, like I don't think any of these guys you need to necessarily trade, but also it just depends, I guess. But I think Kenneth Walker's gonna have a good season, and don't worry about Gibbs. I mean, Gibbs was never a strong play week 1, but he's going to be very good. I would not worry about Gibbs whatsoever. And yeah, like JJ Adams, Lamb, like you don't need to trade any of these guys. They're all gonna have great seasons, dude. You're good. Gibson or Madison? What's up, Ghost Hunter? I go Gibson for sure. For sure. Tampa Bay's run defense been pretty good. I think Madison could have an okay day, but I go Gibson. Prescott or Watson? I think both have good game scripts against relatively decent defenses. So they both have good run games too. Like I see a very similar outcome for either of these guys. I think you trust your gut, whoever you like better. Ingram, Higbee are likely stacking with Lamar. I go Ingram, best matchup. But I think Higbee is going to have a really good day. And likely is fine, but I go Ingram against the Colts. But they're all fine, honestly. Happy PPR, Debo or Connor? I go Debo for sure. Bad matchup for Connor. Kyle, what's up? I have Lamar, Dobbins, Chubb, Devonta, Thomas, Schultz, Madison. Should I replace any of them with Boyd, Patterson, Pirine, Mooney? Maybe Deontay Johnson. If it is, yeah, if it's Deontay Johnson, then maybe I would probably personally play Deontay Johnson over Michael Thomas. That would be the only move that I would make. If you like MT enough, then so be it. Odds that Warren has more yards on the ground than Najee, 0 in my opinion. 0 in my opinion. Najee owns that backfield. The likely hype is getting kind of crazy. Lamar was literally throwing to Duvernay Robinson Porsche last season when he went out. That's fair. Like I don't necessarily see likely having a massive ceiling or anything, or Mark Andrews 20-point stat line, but I do think he's a good solid start. I do think he'll get enough targets because, like, I mean, when we look at things right now, to that point, let's see here. Rashad Bateman will play. Okay, so that's a big update. And Odell Beckham cleared to play. Okay, that was my concern. Like if Beckham's questionable and Bateman's questionable, then maybe we're in a similar scenario. But okay, they're both clear to play. I didn't even know that. But I think likely is still solid. But I agree. It's not like he's going to have a 20-point game or anything. If Kittle is out, is Kincaid viable? Kincaid's viable, but I don't see a massive week 1 for Kincaid. I mean, going back to the fact that I don't love starting rookies in their first game ever, unless it's Bijan or, like someone of that caliber, But also the matchup against the Jets is not extremely favorable. So I'm okay with starting Kincaid, but I don't see a high ceiling. Maybe it depends on who else is out there, JS. Madison or Ramondre, matchup against the Eagles spooks me. I probably still go Ramondre, but I don't see a great ceiling for either guy this week. Probably better volume overall for Ramondre Stevenson. So I probably still go Ramondre. I mean, you drafted him that early for a reason. So I do think he's the start that I feel better about. But Madison's okay, Todd Monken doesn't utilize tight ends at all. Ooh, this is interesting. Have Andrews think he's out for the week? I have a plethora of options at tight end on free agents. Likely Chig, Jawan, Kmet, Ferguson, or Schultz. Call me crazy. I don't really care. My favorite tight end out of this bunch is Cole Kmet. Hands down. That is who I would personally start. And I think we're really forgetting that last year Cole Kmet was the tight end 7. And, it's going to be a much more efficient offense in terms of the passing game. Fields going to be a better passer this year. Should be a competitive matchup. Kmet had like 13 points the last time he played the Packers. I go Kmet here. I think he's really safe. And I think Kmet is a guy who doesn't have to score. Obviously, it helps his stat line if he scores, but I still see like Jawan Johnson, Chig, maybe to a degree likely, maybe even Schultz as touchdown dependent. Probably Ferguson as well. I do think Schultz is the next best option. I go Kmet or Schultz, and then Jawan or Chig, then likely, then Ferguson. But I would start Kmet. Full PPR as well. Need one flex. Madison, Pierce, Kirk. Whew, say no more. Christian Kirk. Juju, Romeo, Dobbs if healthy. Jaden Reed if Dobbs is out. Yeah, I don't really want to fire up Jaden Reed if he's a wide receiver 1. It's a good opportunity, but I want to see kind of what happens there. I like Jaden Reed more if Dobbs is out there, actually, because then there's less defensive pressure. And I think if Dobbs plays, I do think Dobbs is going to have a good game. But Jaden Reed having all that pressure as a wide receiver 1, I think is a little steep in Jordan Love's first, game as a starter. But it's Christian Kirk against the Colts here. The only thing that can hurt Christian Kirk this weekend is the game script if the if the Jags get 2 ahead. But it's a poor secondary for the Colts. They were good last year, but they really hurt themselves throughout the offseason. I go Christian Kirk easy. But that's also my guy. So, Kyle, we got you, my guy. MT is healthy MT healthy is proven must start. I mean, that's completely fair. I mean, you got to start him while he is healthy, right? Would you start JSN or Van Jefferson? I probably go Van Jefferson personally. Um, yeah, I'll go Jefferson. Oh, sorry. I was like, oh, well, I know you're a Ravens fan. I was like, oh, Taylor might have more on this than I do. Something I haven't thought about. But okay, Todd Monken does utilize tight ends. We take it back. Likely or Musgrave? I go likely here. I go likely. Musgrave's okay. It should be a good game script for him, but I'm going to go Isaiah Likely. We appreciate you, Jonesy, and I'm happy to help you guys. So hopefully I make the right calls this week. I mean, it's week 1, so don't hate me if the calls are wrong. But I always tell you guys, I'm not an expert or anything. I just am a guy who loves fantasy football, and that's all we really are here. But we've had moderate enough success that I mean, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Fantasy is extremely unpredictable. The NFL is extremely unpredictable, but I'm super, super happy and grateful that I get to come on here and help you guys for the week as much as I can and to the best of my abilities. And certainly hoping everyone kills it week 1 and wishing you guys good luck. But yeah, I appreciate you saying thanks and shouting that out. But I love doing this and I love talking fantasy with you guys. So at the end of the day, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have the ability to come on and give you guys fantasy advice. So certainly appreciate you shouting that out. Speaking on Christian Kirk, we thought about that trade I have, but it's a toughie. I got 2 trades in 2 different dynasty leagues that I'm monitoring right now. Takes a lot for me to monitor a trade. Start Anthony Richardson or Burrow. Easy. Come on, strictly business. You know what you're doing here. It's Burrow. MT or McLaurin? I probably go McLaurin against the Cardinals. I mean, this secondary for the Cardinals looks very tragic tomorrow. Andrew, need one flex. Deontay, Dillon, or Charbs in PPR. I would start Deontay Johnson personally. Yeah, full PPR. The Niners secondary not very good against the run or against opposing wide receivers last year. Excuse me. So for me, yeah, easy. I go Deontay Johnson for sure. I mean, is he going to score a touchdown? I don't quite know. But will he get the volume and the receptions? He should. Cooks or MT? I mean, like if you guys own MT and you believe in him and like you got it. I mean, you drafted him and like you got to start him when you can. Like I just said a couple moments ago, but I might go Cooks here. I'm not like super high on either of these guys personally, but I do think that the better game script is the Giants Cowboys. But I do think that both of these matchups have relatively good defenses. And, the Tennessee Titans have a good front 7, relatively good against the run last year. They were not good against the pass at all. So I could see a game where like MT and, of course, Chris Olave and maybe a little sprinkle Shaheed, Jawan Johnson get a little bit loose in this game. But I also see that game having a kind of a poor game script as well, not being super high scoring. So Taylor, I think you kind of go with whoever you're more confident in. I think the better game script is probably the Cowboys Giants, but you're welcome, Andrew, of course. J-Dubs, thank you for the helping out in the chat. A2 Goated, what's up? Low key feel like starting Likely over Pitts. I mean, like I'm not completely against that necessarily. I'm not really a big Pitts guy, but you just never know. I think Arthur Smith, unfortunately, has made Pitts relatively touchdown dependent when you really break things down last year. So I still think Pitts is fine and probably has a better game script. I do see that being not like the highest scoring game, but I do think it's a more competitive back and forth game. So trust your gut. Is Komet a good start? Yes, I love Komet this week. If Komet is out there available, you're struggling at tight end. I mean, even if you're not, like Komet should be rostered in all leagues. Komet is a starter this week. I mean, he's in my must start players video for today. I don't really understand. Like last offseason, we had so much hype around Komet, and Justin Fields wasn't even like the Justin Fields that we know now. And like I was surprised there just wasn't more hype and like, or at least conviction in Cole Komet going into this year, other than me. But yes, he's a good start against the Packers. Last time he played them, he had like 13 fantasy points. Good competitive game script here, divisional matchup. I think he's going to be kind of that security blanket for Justin Fields in a lot of situations. So I still think, obviously Mooney's going to come back healthy. DJ Moore is going to be a factor. Maybe got Herbert or even Roshan Johnson out of the backfield catching passes. But Komet is going to get good enough volume that he can put up a good stat line. Andrews is hurt. Komet is available. Yeah, I would get Komet. Sorry, I don't know if I have the others that are available. But yeah, I would go get Komet. Easy for me. Easy. Godfather, I'm in on Komet being top 10 this season. I would own him in any league he is available in 10 team or greater. 100% agree. What's the Waller update? Kind of tough with the game being Sunday night. Yeah, and unfortunately, J-Dubs, what I'll tell you is we probably won't get an update till like 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. I don't know what time that is for everyone else, but like an hour or two before the Sunday night game at best. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll get an update like kind of in the afternoon a little bit earlier than that. But unfortunately, you're right. It is a tough situation to be in. Like, who can you really pivot to? Jake Ferguson, Tyler Conklin, Dawson Knox, probably not Dalton Kincaid, probably not available. So, I mean, you do have some options. And I mean, in that circumstance, I maybe take a shot on Jake Ferguson or Tyler Conklin or Dawson Knox. And so you got to kind of look at who's available right now. And am I going to go ahead and take the chance on not starting Waller, or am I going to take the chance on throwing Waller out there or waiting to see if he's healthy? You know what I mean? So, I mean, I do think it's probably worth the risk because right now the reports are coming out that the Waller situation is not supposed, or, reportedly is not serious, but it's a hamstring injury. We're already seeing like, we're getting slapped left and right. The hamstring apocalypse of week 1, 2023. So I wouldn't have the utmost confidence potentially. There's no update right now, though, to answer your question. Yen Dog, what's up? Akers or Herbert at RB2? This is a toughie for me. I like both these guys. Seattle's run defense very poor last year. I mean, I do think that the game script will result in the Rams throwing more than running, but as soon as I get to the red zone, it's probably Akers time. But Sean McVay's a weird head coach and will probably throw in like Kyron Williams or whatever and screw us. But I do like Akers tomorrow, and I do like Herbert. I think both are completely fine. I think Herbert maybe a little bit more upside in terms of pass catching, but that's a tough one. Chat, let me know what you guys think. I probably go Akers because I do think the volume's a little bit better. I'll probably go Akers. Should I start Sutton or Dalvin Cook? What's up, Dom? It looks like Jerry Jeudy's probably going to play. So, I mean, I was really getting high on Sutton. And, I mean, he's still questionable. But if Judy's out, I start Sutton against the Raiders for sure. For sure. If not, I think Cook is actually okay. But, ultimately, full PPR, I probably go Sutton. Is there any Kansas City wide receiver worth owning? Yeah, I think things are going to improve for Kansas City, or at least for the wide receiver room. I don't want to overreact to this game. Great offense, great quarterback. I just don't want to overreact to the game. I would not really feel great about rostering Kadarius Toney, but I have not been in on Kadarius Toney like ever, really. It wasn't really a guy I was going after this offseason. I was getting more shares of Sky Moore than anything. So I do think the one guy worth taking a strong look at is Rashee Rice, because maybe he gains that confidence by scoring the touchdown. Now, any wide receiver should have caught that touchdown. Like it was like right in the basket. You know what I mean? But also looking at things, I don't know if any wide receiver on this team would have caught that touchdown. You know what I mean? So, I think Rashee Rice worth a look on the waiver wire. Could be a guy who emerges into a top option for Patty Mahomes, but um, I don't know. It's tough. You could take MVS is probably still worth a shot, but I just don't know how high the ceiling's ever going to be. Plus, two things. A, all the volume for these wide receivers is going to go down once Kelsey's back. But also, to that same argument, they're probably going to play better with Kelsey on the field because it's Travis Kelsey, and he's going to take the primary defensive pressure. So there's guys worth owning, but I wouldn't expect a lot of consistency. That's just not what Kansas City wide receivers do unless Tyreek Hill's on this team. You know what I mean? Like unless there's just a bona fide number one guy. So for me personally, I maybe take a look at Rashee Rice, but that's about it. Unless you're in a deeper league, MVS is probably okay too. Would you start Freiermuth or Likely? I still start Freiermuth personally. Not a great matchup, but the volume will be there. Ghost Hunter. Oh, that was for the Freiermuth or Likely. I was like looking like sorry. Freiermuth still. Pitt scared me with those 1.3 games. I've been following Likely since college. He's talented. Yeah, I mean, trust your gut there. I think they're both fine. Likely over Freiermuth, but it's close, but that's strictly game script. I mean, that's fair too. Yeah, it's a good point here. If Waller doesn't play, Bellinger becomes a solid start, in my opinion, even against a tough matchup. But yeah, Bellinger is definitely a guy we want to consider for sure. Yeah, something going around the hamstrings this year. Albert was good, my guy. Good to see you, Broski. Kirk or London? I mean, you can't really go wrong here. Like, I know some of you guys are expecting me to say Kirk for sure, but you just can't really go wrong here. They're both perfectly fine. Both are perfectly fine. Who do you like more, Albert? You know, the game script's probably better for the Falcons, but I just expect big things out of the Jags week one. So you can't go wrong. You just can't go wrong there. Good to see you, Dom. Akers, Connor, Bateman. I go Akers. But yeah, Bateman could be a little sneaky here. You know, I actually like Zay Flowers a lot more now that I know Bateman and Odell are going to be out there. I think that really helps Zay Flowers. Space Ghost, I have Pitts. Is there a point in grabbing a backup tight end? I know Kmet is your guy at Fields. Yeah, I mean, it depends on who you have to drop to get him. Like, I don't really prefer to roster two tight ends, but sometimes at the beginning of the season, I will roster two tight ends just to kind of get things like polished out. And, you saw last year, if you did own two tight ends, it really helped because once things started to go down at the position, it was a tough year to stream tight ends, like Jawan Johnson. Kmet did get dropped and picked up. Greg Dulcich, Hayden Hurst. Like there wasn't a lot of names. So I think there is at this point in the season, but it depends if you have to drop. If you're dropping like a valuable wide receiver or running back, you don't do it. And then even to a degree, some handcuff running backs, you probably don't want to drop either. But yeah, I think for me, but with a guy like Pitts, I probably don't mind having an option like Kmet behind him. Chris, yeah, Christian Watson didn't miss a single practice and gets ruled out fairly early for week one. Yeah, you're telling me, bro. I was like, I started to get so high on Christian Watson towards the end of the year and started to get more and more shares of him. And yeah. Would it be worth dropping Mitchell? Yeah, see, like that's tough. That's tough. I mean, Mitchell might be the best handcuff in the league, arguably. Because if CMC goes down and he sees immediate RB1 value, and he probably has standalone value as is, especially in games where the Niners are up. So who else can he drop? But I do like Kmet quite a bit. So, I mean, it depends on your running backs as a whole as well. Sport Dog, what's up, man? John, 18 PPR. Thinking of switching out Kincaid for Musgrave at tight end, even though I'm using Allen as my quarterback. What's your opinion? I mean, I think it's a better game for Musgrave. I think Kincaid week 1 is completely touchdown dependent. I don't think he's going to see an insane amount of volume, and it's not a good matchup. I think that game is probably going to finish as like a, 24-20, 23-21 type of game. I don't think it's going to be incredibly high scoring. Kind of like the Chiefs Lions game. Or on the other hand, I think that the Packers Bears maybe won't be incredibly high scoring, but maybe there's a better flow offensively to the game. Does that make sense? Cats, good to see you, broski. Hope you're doing fantastic. Mandrew's out. We start in Likely or Conklin. I go Likely, but Conklin's okay. Birdman, what's good, my guy? I go Khalil over Deion Jackson personally, for sure. I like Khalil this week. Cool. What's up, my guy? Proposing to trade Najee and Pat for Mandrews in an A team. Should I be trading Walker or Jones instead of Najee? I mean, I think Najee is going to have a perfectly fine season, but I like Walker and Jones as well. I mean, personally, call me crazy, I might prefer to have Najee and Kenneth Walker and trade Aaron Jones. But if you want to trade Najee, that's fine too. Yeah, having Kelsey last year was fantastic. Aaron Jones or Mike Evans? What's up, Fresh King? I think both are fine. I think it's a really good matchup for Mike Evans against the Vikings. This defense was absolutely awful last year against opposing wide receivers. So for me, full PPR, I might go Mike Evans, but I'm not out on Aaron Jones by any means. I know I just said in the last question, like I might consider Aaron Jones there in terms of the trade, but I think Aaron Jones against the Bears is a pretty solid start as well. So I think both are good starts this week, but I might go Mike Evans. If you're not really confident in the quarterback play of Baker Mayfield in this matchup and everything, you could go Aaron Jones, but I think Baker's going to be fine tomorrow. I mean, I'm not expecting fireworks or anything, but I think it's going to be okay. This Vikings defense, basically gave Daniel Jones the extension. I mean, they made Daniel Jones look like Lamar Jackson last year in the playoffs. And even that, what was that, like week 15, 16 game, made Daniel Jones look incredible. And I mean, I like Daniel Jones just fine, but I'm just saying, they made Daniel Jones look like a superstar, So I think Evan's okay. Let me see here. Put Watson on my R, then picked up JSN. Nice. I mean, I don't expect Watson to be there super long, but we could be wrong. I thought Watson was going to play, so don't listen to me. Start Raheem Mostert or Damian Pierce against the Ravens. We had this question earlier, actually. I'd probably go with Raheem Mostert, just a better overall game script. I actually think that Pierce will get better volume, but a tougher matchup, and he feels a little bit touchdown dependent to me this week. I mean, I don't know. Texans could surprise us, but I think the Ravens they're gonna do their thing. And yeah, I mean, Chargers, Dolphins, I've been talking about this matchup quite a bit, and I just think you want to try and exploit this matchup as much as possible. I think there's going to be there's a good amount of points scored in this game, and, a fair amount of reason to believe that's going to happen. So, Likely or Everett, I think both are fine. Once again, I like that matchup with the Chargers and Dolphins, but yeah, guys, when we're moving into this tier tight ends, your guess is as good as mine. I want you guys to roll with whoever you have the most confidence in, because once again, touchdown dependency is going to really show up. Very rare that we're going to have a tight end in this range, step up and get 6, 8, 10. 6 is a good number of targets, but 8, 10, 12 targets, and get enough just pure receptions to give you a solid stat line. The touchdowns are going to be huge for this caliber of tight end. Good thing about Kelsey this year is we know he's getting all the targets. Yeah, for sure. I think Mike Evans winds up on the Giants. If not this year, then next. I mean, they could certainly be in the mix. I would not be surprised. Phil Pierce has solid start every week, but man, that Dolphins Chargers game could be high scoring. Still lean Pierce. Yeah, it's a tough call. Like I said, I think Pierce actually gets the better volume, and you probably drafted him to play him. Like you didn't draft him to start Raheem Mostert over him, but it's just the game script, right? Musgrave top 5 tight end could be a thing. Do you own him in Dynasty, or are you trying to trade him? AJ Dillon, Mike Evans, and Standard. What's up, Jonathan? And Standard, I might go AJ Dillon, because then I think Mike Evans becomes pretty touchdown dependent in terms of what we want from a stat line, but AJ Dillon's probably touchdown dependent as well. So, I mean, whoever you feel better about. I think Mike Evans could have a sneaky good game here, though. Likely or Kittle. What's up, Angelo? You still go Kittle. If Kittle's healthy, don't overthink it. Go Kittle. Likely Everett Musgrave. Once again, this range of tight end, very, very touchdown dependent. So, make sure you guys trust your gut. I think the best matchup here is Everett at the Dolphins. But Likely's fine, and Musgrave's probably okay too. Chat, let me know. I mean, in terms of this tight end range, because we're getting a lot of similar questions here, who are you guys most confident in? Like, I still stand by, like, if Cole Kmet or Tyler Higbee are available, those are the guys you plug in. There's no doubt about it. If they're not available in your league, it just depends on who's out there. So who are you guys really eyeing personally in terms of the tight end position, in terms of streaming options in this range that you think will have the best game, and why? Because there's a lot of names. I really like Gerald Everett. I think he's a really good streaming option against the Dolphins. We love this matchup. I love Jawan Johnson. I think those two guys are kind of my top tier streaming options. But there are, Isaiah Likely now coming into the mix, like we said at the beginning of the stream with the Mark Andrews injury. I mean, those are probably the three guys I'm considering. But when it comes down to like who, that's when it gets a little bit tough, because it's like, once again, all these guys are touchdown dependent. I've said it like 100 times throughout the stream. And it's just very rare that we're going to see, a tight end in this range get enough targets that they just get pure receptions and give you a good stat line. So let me know where you guys are and kind of give each other some feedback here, because it's definitely going to give a lot of fantasy managers some queasiness, whether you own Mark Andrews, George Kittle, or Darren Waller going into tomorrow. I mean, it's a tough situation. I get it. But yeah, like for me, I just don't really want to start a rookie tight end in week 1. I feel like the high scoring predicted games never hit expectations. That could be true. Could be true. Dara, what's going on? Probability and Waller playing. Who knows? I mean, the reports are indicating that it's a good situation, so I guess that's good. But your guess is as good as mine. I'm not going to act like I have some sort of knowledge that I'm going to be able to come to a better conclusion than you. Mostert or Addison? I think Addison is okay this week, but once again, I don't necessarily want to start Addison week 1. I mean, full PPR, you can consider it, but I think Mostert's the safer option, I would say, but Addison probably provides you with a little bit more upside, right? John, I'm using Aaron Jones and Stevenson as my RBs, also Cook. Would you leave the RBs alone or put Cook in? I would leave him alone. I do think Cook's going to have some good opportunities, but here, week 1, Jets, I don't know if he'll be there. Bold up. That's right. Dynasty question. If waivers don't process until Monday, are you basically stuck punting tight end if Waller doesn't play? Mm-hmm. Let me check. Maybe. I hope not. I mean, yeah, I think that you guys should be able to. Let me just see here. I was going to say, I think, yeah, I wish that they would go through. See, I will say the only thing that I don't really like on sleeper presets with leagues is the way they set the, of course, I don't know why this is so tough for me. Here we go. The way they set waivers is like super confusing. I mean, okay. I'm probably going to open it up on Sundays because you should be able to pick up players Sunday morning. I don't have a problem with that. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go through each dynasty league and change that. I don't think that should be an issue. Yeah, the presets for sleeper and waivers are like super confusing. But I will go ahead and change that in each dynasty league for you guys. And probably I'll need to go through and change that in all the leagues. Because you guys should be able to go through and pick up players Sunday morning if you need to, and even Sunday afternoon, Sunday night too. You just won't be able to drop players that have already played in a game. Who's this year's Tony Pollard, backup running back to break out? Well, it's tough to say in terms of backup running backs purely. I mean, I like Rashad White. You guys know that. I still like Pacheco. I just don't know how high his ceiling can be in that offense. But yeah, backup, it's hard to say. Hard to say. Let's see. Birdman says likely. Dara got Musgrave, but looking at likely to pick up. Andrea, have a good night. Good luck tomorrow if we don't talk to you. Musgrave with Watts announced all crazy route percentages in preseason. Ferguson could see volume as well. These are good points. Could you say touchdown dependent one more time? I know. I mean, like I hate having to like. Well, I don't want to say I hate it, but sometimes like you guys will see when we're talking about like the same common theme as being like kind of the big indicator for the start set questions for the week. Yeah, I will have to repeat myself a couple of times. I will change up the phrasing. Saw that the ball and the Giants always activate 3 tight ends for the game. They chose not to activate another tight end. Yes, I saw this point as well. That could be definitely a good sign for Waller. It's like, what's the worst case scenario? They like Waller doesn't play, then they roll with Bellinger. I don't know. Mateo, what's going on? Start Drake London or Mingo alongside Waddle and Dotson. Is Javonte Williams a good flex? You start Drake London. Don't think twice about it. Drake London for sure. For sure. You take the proven guy here. Javonte Williams a good flex. He's okay, but according to reports, we're going to see more, 3 running backs out there for the Broncos. It's a good matchup, though. It depends on who else you got. But yeah, you start Drake London for sure. Saints or Jags D this week. You can't really go wrong here, man. Both are great options. Both are fantastic options. But I'd probably go with the Jaguars. Good catch. I like it. John, hope you dominate your league this week. Thank you. Gonna get some sleep. Are you on tomorrow? Yes. I haven't decided. It depends on what time I fall asleep tonight. I took a nap before the stream and it was way longer than it should have been. So depends on what time I fall asleep. But like as soon as I get off the stream, I'm just gonna like take like melatonin and like CBD so I can fall asleep as quick as possible because I want to basically wake up early is what I was gonna do tomorrow and go to the gym and then be like fired up, ready to go, and then hop on stream. Like I'm hoping to get on at 11 a.m. Eastern time, if not earlier, and stream until 1. Tomorrow will probably be my longest stream of the entire year. But I'll let you guys know on Discord. Likely Johnson, Everett, had Andrews. Yeah, that's tough. I go Jawan Johnson, but Everett. I go Johnson, Everett, likely. But we can't really go wrong here. They all need to score a touchdown, more than likely, for the best outcome. How's that, Ghost Hunter? What prop bets are your favorite this weekend? Sure, let me pull them up. I have a really embarrassing. Hold on, let me see here. Yeah, I'm using not using my usual setup because I like when we do the fantasy Q&A when you guys can have the questions on the screen. I feel like you guys like that too. But my normal setup software is better quality. And I can do certain things that I like. But I feel like it's not a big of a deal with until we get into like mock drafts and stuff is a little bit better. So here's a couple that I like. Dobbins over 59.5 rushing yards. I also like Dobbins to score a touchdown. Christian Kirk more than 9.55 fantasy points. Jake Moody more than 2 extra points made. I feel like that's a good line because it could be an easy push. Chris Godwin higher than 5 receptions. Joe Mixon to score a touchdown. Rushing or receiving against a poor Browns defense. Excuse me. This next lineup is embarrassing. Just because I accidentally put Matt Prater in here, and I thought, like, the way I read it was he was Washington's kicker, and as soon as I submitted it, I was like, wait, he is definitely not Washington's kicker, and I don't think that Arizona is going to score 2 touchdowns. Maybe they get one early, they sneak one in, and they get a garbage time touchdown. But yeah, this is not. I would not throw Matt Prater in your lineup for pick'ems or props. Cole Kmet over 2.5 receptions. Love that line. Love it. T-Law over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Love that. Justin Tucker, 2.5 extra points made. Love it. Kenneth Walker to score a touchdown. Love it. Matt Prater, hate that line. Absolutely awful. Let me see if anything new has come up that I really like. I'm just purely going on Underdog. I haven't really gone through like any of the actual like FanDuel or anything. I did post on Discord on the sports betting page. There's a very good offer from Bet365. If you guys don't have an account with them, you just have to do a minimum deposit, then bet $1 on a bet. And as soon as that bet is cleared, whether you win or lose the bet, they're going to give you $365 in. I mean, like, you can't like withdraw that money. You have to play through it, but it's $365 in free bets. So that's probably the best promotion I've seen for week 1, maybe ever. I like the Rachaad White lines, but I haven't been confident enough to take them for some reason. I think Kate Otten at 2.5 receptions could be sneaky. Baker likes tight ends. I kind of like Madison to score a touchdown. I don't know why, but I wouldn't bet on it. I do think KJ Osborne at 3 receptions is sneaky. Yeah, not a lot of changes here. Yeah, the Dobbins rushing line went up by almost 4 yards, or exactly 4 yards. So that's a good sign. They still have Andrews up, but they'll probably change that. Yeah. Nick Bosa to get a sack could be interesting. But I usually don't do a lot of defensive player props. I kind of like Deontay Johnson at 4.5 receptions. I don't mind Calvin Ridley's fantasy point line, but I like Kirk's because it's a little bit lower. If he scores a touchdown, I think he hits that. I do like Michael Pittman at 4 receptions still. I think that's a really good line. I think they're going to be playing from behind. He's the primary guy. I don't even mind Alec Pierce at 2.5 if you like that better. I mean, the Colts are going to be playing from behind throwing the football, so Adam Thielen to get 3 receptions, ultimately 4 to hit the line is not bad. But he is banged up, so I wouldn't risk it. Bijan to score a touchdown is fine. I kind of like Younghoe Koo's props, but it takes a lot for me to go with the kicker other than Matt Prater, apparently. I would not take any of the Cardinals lines. Although this Josh Dobbs line could be sneaky at the higher. Call me crazy. Especially with garbage time. I want to like Washington. I mean, I like Dotson at 3.5 receptions, especially if that game gets competitive. Like he could do that in the first half. D-Hop over 5 receptions feels a little sneaky. Nick Folk at 1.5 field goals feels sneaky too. I would say if you're gonna put together like a big parlay on like FanDuel or something, make it on the Chargers Dolphins game. But yeah, not a ton coming up here. Jacobs to score a touchdown could be sneaky. But yeah, that's about it. I don't like the Eagles-Pats game at all. Aaron Jones score a touchdown could be a good line. I do like DJ Moore at 3.5 receptions. I feel like that line's a little bit lower. Even Mooney at 2.5. Yeah, the Komet line is gone, but I really liked that at 2.5. I don't mind Higbee at 5 receptions, but it is a little steep. I still like Walker to score a touchdown. So yeah, I kind of don't like the Giants, Cowboys lines or any of the Jets. I mean, obviously the free Saquon line at 1 total yard is good. I don't hate him to score a touchdown. It's just not a great matchup for him to do so. But yeah, ultimately, I don't like the Jets game. So, all right, that was a lot of props. Hope that was helpful. We'll be sweating my weekly winners week 1 build. I didn't name them, so I won't be able to find it. Likely is good. Not going to be prioritized over everyone else. That could be fair. Everett, Johnson, or Fant? Johnson. That's right, Birdman. Let's get these chips, baby. Got to start Russ over AR. I would week 1. Ghost Hunter, have a good night. Feeling on Charbs, perfectly fine player to keep on your bench for sure. I'll wait to see if I can play Waller or bench already and start Musgrave, Everett, Schultz, Ferguson. I would wait. Especially if Ferguson's in the mix. I would wait. But if not, go Everett. Do you like Jamal Williams or Gabe Davis? Jamal Williams with Kendre Miller out. What's up, John? Good to see you, man. Russell Wilson or Ray Charles? You could go Komet here. If Komet is available, you pick up Komet. Komet or Higbee, if they're available, you start them, in my opinion. Gibson, Herbert, Jackson. I go Gibson against the Cards. Do you think Tutu Atwell will be worth picking up? Maybe, but like we have other names on this roster at wide receiver. It's going to depend on who Matt Stafford prefers. So if you want to take a little gamble, you don't feel like you're dropping a bad player. Yeah. I know. You even told me to. Hold on. Oh. I don't know why. I'm trying to look at it and it won't pull it up for me. Oh. Here we go. Man, I will say I had a lot of these. Who's a player? Oh, someone had the person in first place right now overall had Mahomes, Monty, Pacheco, Amon-Ra, Rashid Rice, Josh Reynolds. See, this guy completely went. All of his players are Packers, Bears, Lions, Chiefs. With a little sprinkle of no. Yeah, literally every player on the person who's in first place right now, like this is probably going to change. This is definitely going to change. But it's just interesting. Everyone he drafted is literally, that's all he drafted were Packers, Bears, Chiefs, Lions players, in case anyone's wondering. My highest scoring team right now have Mahomes and Gibbs. So I don't know. Probably not great. Beanut the Rook, what's up? Addison, Gibson, or Jefferson? Gibson for sure against the Cardinals. For sure. Great matchup. You got to play Gibby here. Pretty decent options elsewhere, but I go Gibson for sure, my guy. Curtis, what's good, dude? I feel like Chris Olave at the Saints sleeper. Yeah, I mean, we love Olave here. So Olave is a great start week one. Titans secondary, relatively poor last year to say the least. So I think Olave is going to have a great week one for sure, my guy. Sutton, Charbs, Javonte. Sutton full PPR. Good matchup for him. Judy's banged up. Sutton for me. Orac, what's up, dude? Ingram or Everett. I like Everett a lot as a streaming option, but if you own Everett Ingram, you got to go Ingram for sure. For sure. Should I drop Jalen Warren for Jordan Love? I have Fields, but if he goes down, there's a buy. Not a lot of good quarterbacks available. I mean, Warren is a pure handcuff to me. Could have some standalone value as the season goes on, but it just depends. I mean, like, I don't think you necessarily need to. If you're really that worried about it, you can. But generally speaking, even if there's not a lot of great options right now, those options are going to come up. But if you're in a league where a lot of people roster 2 quarterbacks, think it's okay. Have Terry playing already? I mean, this is one of those matchups where it's probably okay to be starting Terry and Gibson. I mean, we got Buda Baker and maybe some of these other players step up, but I wouldn't put my money on it. So I think it's okay, man. These Washington players are going to have a good weekend. Is playing Cooks and Lamb bad in my fantasy team? It can be. I mean, it can be good as well, though. Like, yeah, this is a different situation than the Commanders and Cardinals game, but if it's the best options, then at the end of the day, you got to play the best players on your roster, regardless of do I have multiple players on the same team, whatever. You always start the best available players you can. So if that's the case, it's fine. Orac, if you rewind the stream, I went through every game. And I went through the 2 slips I have for the week. So if you go to about, hold on. Yeah. If you rewind like 12 minutes, I went through, I mean, kind of quickly, but I went through every game, anything that stood out to me. I've been monitoring the lines. Like, I don't really start monitoring the lines super heavily till like Thursday, after Thursday Night Football, unless there's something like I really want to look at, but there's just too many variables that can change. Sometimes it's worth the risk to monitor early on and place early on, but sometimes it's not worth the risk as well. So I like to kind of really heavily monitor like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, is what I normally do. So I kind of went through anything that stood out to me. And then the 2 slips that I have, just don't place a Matt Prater prop by accident like me. Pick 2 to start non-PPR, Connor, Hall, Swift, White. Ooh, I go Swift and White. I think Swift and White provide you with the best potential here. You're welcome, B-Nut, for sure, my dude. Hope Olave is a big year, passed on Henry for him. Yeah, I think Olave is going to be great. I mean, like I've said it 100 times, like look at Olave stat line last year. Look at Garrett Wilson's. Very similar. You look at Rodgers' numbers last year. You look at Derek Carr's numbers last year. Very similar. So I just think Olave overall, I mean, I still think Wilson's in a better situation, but Olave, phenomenal route runner. I mean, he's just, in comparison, being slept on for sure. Caleb, you're welcome, my dude. That's what we're here for. Always happy to help you, my guy. Debo or Dotson? That's interesting. I mean, I think Debo could have a sneaky week one. Like, I'm not out on Debo by any means here in week one, but you're going Debo for a floor. You're going Dotson for upside for sure. So if you want to roll with Dotson, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. Flowers or Pierce? Pierce is a safe floor. Flowers gives you upside. Once again, kind of similar to the last question, but I think that Pierce sees pretty good volume overall. And if you want to roll with them, it's a tough matchup, but I think it's like okay. But ultimately, I think Flowers is actually a play that I think is really interesting this week that could bring a pretty decent amount of upside, because now we know Bateman and Odell are going to be out there, and the defensive pressure is just not going to be on Zay Flowers at the end of the day. So I like Flowers actually quite a bit. Pierce is a safe play. Flowers gives you that risk, but gives you that upside as well. So non-PPR, start Swift or White. White. Well, that was a bad sip of water. Listen, I like Swift this week, but I still go White because it's a better matchup. Yeah, far better matchup. Vikings compared to the Patriots. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about an hour and a half in, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I don't really want to, but I'm looking at the time, and realistically, I'm going to try and wake up super early. I've done it the last 2 days, so I should be fine tomorrow. But I'm going to wake up super early, get my mind cleared, go to the gym, get some pre-workout in me, and then hop on for – I'm probably going to try and stream for 2.5 hours at least tomorrow. So last year, week 1, Sunday morning stream was my best stream of all time. So hopefully tomorrow goes well. So be sure to come through tomorrow, guys. Even if you guys don't necessarily have any more questions for the week, make sure to come by, say what's up. It's week 1. We're going to be excited. And we're probably going to have a good amount of people in here who are going to have fantasy questions. So come by, talk some fantasy. It's going to be a good morning. And it's week 1. We're all going to be super excited, right? Godfather, have a great night. I appreciate you so much, dude. Sky Moore on my bench. Should I drop him for a better waiver? Depends on who the better waiver is. But I think, I don't want to completely overreact on Sky Moore. He still has a lot of potential. San Francisco or Washington defense. You don't want to drop San Francisco necessarily, but I start Washington week 1 against Josh Dobbs and company for sure. Washington is a smash play this weekend. And I think Pittsburgh's going to play better than some people might expect. But they are kind of a popular sleeper for the week. Rackham, you're very welcome. Happy to do this, man. I love doing this. So no worries at all. But yeah, guys, I will be back on tomorrow for quite some time. So if you guys, still have questions, still have uncertainty, maybe your players you're thinking about are questionable, looking for more clarification tomorrow on what you should do, I'll be on tomorrow. So don't worry, guys. But do me a favor, guys. Make sure you guys hit the like on the way out. If you guys are new to the channel, thank you so much for being here tonight. Good stream overall, very active. I really appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys join our free Discord down below and follow us on Instagram. Those are the 2 best places that I can give you guys updates. Plus, you guys can hit me up on there anytime that you need to. But obviously, no video tomorrow. Maybe I might put the waiver wire video out tomorrow. I probably will wait until Monday, though. So no videos tomorrow, but I will be on for an early stream. And we're going to have some fun tomorrow, guys. I just can't wait. Finally here, essentially. So let's go. But yeah, I'll be on tomorrow, and that'll be about it. I'll just do that early stream before kickoff, and that'll be it for tomorrow. So if you guys need anything throughout the day, let me know. Discord, Instagram, all that good stuff. I'll try to get back to you. And other than that, look out for tomorrow's stream. And I really appreciate you guys hanging out tonight and talking fantasy. Good luck to everyone if I don't talk to you guys tomorrow. And let's freaking go, baby. It's week 1. Sunday. It is Sunday technically. So let's go. All right, you guys be safe. Have a good Sunday. Eat some food. Enjoy it. And I expect to see everyone in tomorrow's stream pregame. Okay? So be here. All right. Love you guys, man. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. Thank you guys so much for all the fantasy questions tonight. Thank you guys so much for everything you guys did throughout the offseason this year. And let's freaking go. It's week 1, baby. Let's get it. So with that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch. And peace.